Hi everybody, it's just Sadie for a few seconds here. We do record our episodes in advance, so this episode was recorded weeks ago and before any of the ICE protests in California started. We want to make it abundantly clear where we stand on what's going on. We are absolutely supportive of the protests that are happening, and it's disgusting what's going on in California. We absolutely support anybody who is speaking out against that, and we do believe that nobody is illegal on stolen land. Definitely educate yourself on what's going on if you are not aware. I will have a few sources in the description if you need somewhere to start. But yeah, we just wanted to make it super clear and give you some opportunities to do some additional research if you're interested. And we will now get into our episode. Thank you, guys.
Welcome back to Socratic Sisters Podcast.
Yes. Welcome back to episode 3. Oh my god, I'm excited.
I'm Maggie.
I'm Sadie.
And we are sisters.
We are sisters.
Socratically sisters.
Do you remember doing Socratic seminars?
Yeah, I loved them. I actually loved them.
Hated them.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know why I liked them. Everyone else hated them.
I was just so bad at I would get so stressed out about the fact that I had to speak at some point or else I would fail it that I just would shut down and not think of anything to say.
Yeah, no, that's valid. I mean, it's probably just your anxiety.
Definitely. I had really bad anxiety in high school.
I mean, I did too.
Especially speaking in front of a class. Terrifying. And then the class where we always did Socratic seminars was double the size of a normal class.
It was huge. And so oh my god.
Yeah, I had a terrible time. Anyway, this is not that.
No, it's not. This is a fun Socratic not seminar. Oh, hi.
Okay.
He's not gonna lay down. He's gonna stare into the camera again.
This is Avi. This is Dog. Avi, say something. Oh, thank you. So true.
So true.
Oh my god.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Anyway,
oh my gosh.
Okay, I discovered while editing the last 2 episodes, I say the word anyway so many times.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
I started pissing myself off.
You're
Every time another
stop.
one would come, I'd be like, stop, just pick a different word.
Therefore.
Okay, let's move on.
However. Segue.
I always say, anyway. Start saying something else. So if you noticed that in those episodes, I am so sorry. I'm going to work on it.
They're going to notice it now.
Please, just give me some time. I'll work on it. I'm trying. Change is hard.
Yeah, after watching that first episode, we were just like, okay, we need to change this, and this, and this.
So this is the first episode that we're recording after launching the first episode.
Yes.
Because the first 2 episodes we recorded at the same time. So we actually have some feedback to work with. Not everyone was really nice.
Yeah, everyone was super nice.
Okay, you idiot.
Come on, Abby.
I was expecting, because we did get some comments from random people. I thought it would mostly be
people we know.
Which is what it was.
Rough.
Was a lot of it, right? But we got some comments from people that I did not recognize. Did you get any messages from people being like, this is
our brother.
Yeah.
Messaged me and was like, the statue of David is Roman and it was by Michelangelo or something like that.
Well,
and I was
had someone DM me and say that it was Da Vinci.
I think I just got that wrong too. I think it's Da Vinci.
No, because I know.
No, look it up.
I know that our brother said, because he also messaged me that. I know he said Michelangelo. Okay, we're actually going to look it up.
But while I was watching it with my husband, he was like, okay, first of all, it's Roman. Because it's in Italy.
Greek? I didn't know
It's Roman.
To me, all of that old stuff is it's all ancient Greek.
It's all the same to me. I don't know. But I mean, it just kind of makes sense that it's Roman to me. I don't know. It was a rough comment. I was like, ooh, bummer.
Okay, the Statue of David was from Michelangelo. So
Okay.
my friend who messaged me and said, obviously it's from Da Vinci. You're also an idiot. Okay, we're in the same boat.
Oh,
No, it's okay. He's fine.
Oh no,
But then I also did get another one of my friends saying like, I am the art history person who's crashing out listening to your, because we've had like, I'm so sorry
You're
to
like,
anyone who knows
sorry.
art history.
We don't know anything.
There
I mean,
were a
I
few
took
people.
an art history class, believe it or not, but it was like 7 years ago.
So you didn't retain any of it?
No,
Okay, clearly.
obviously not.
And that's fine.
I also don't know geography very well, so.
Oh, me neither. Every time we watch Jeopardy and anything about geography comes up, I just
God.
eyes glazed over.
Yeah.
Won't even register the question.
Yeah, I don't know. I know like the general area of some things, but I don't know anything else other than that. So whatever. We
I
will
always just-
sound dumb sometimes.
Yeah, I
and
just like
don't
guess a
care.
random country.
Oh.
Well, like no, like
for Jeopardy?
I'll usually get the right continent.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
then
that
like
one's a little easier.
if it's like this country, blah 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 blah, you know,
right over my head.
I'm so sorry. It's not gonna happen.
No, absolutely. I can't. It's just not in my brain power.
So thank you to anyone who watched our other 2 episodes.
Yes.
At this point, while we're recording this, the second one has not been up yet, but
it will
I'm
in a few days.
sure I'm just gonna thank you in advance for the love and support because I hope we will continue to get that for the second episode too, which is Maggie's first episode hosting.
It's my first hosting episode, and it was terrifying, low key. I should have done a lot more research, but
it's fine. Yeah, should we apologize just in advance about making fun of the people who died in the Titanic?
Yeah, we didn't technically make fun of them. It was just the situation.
Just laughing at the situation.
Yeah, and so we realized that, this actually happened. And so we do apologize for any sensitive subjects we brought up.
Any insensitivity that we had while discussing it.
Because I always just think of the movie and that's it.
Yeah. So in your mind, it's just a movie. It's like, not real.
I'm like, it's not real. But people did die and it was very serious. And it was,
So just to like clarify how we feel about the things that we're talking about, when Maggie's presenting a conspiracy, especially one that's like related to something that we know it actually happened, we know people died, just know that like this is for entertainment. We're just speculating. We don't actually believe that JP Morgan purposefully like sunk the Titanic to win a vote. Okay.
It's just a fun little game.
just to make that totally apparent. Okay.
We mean no harm.
So today we are doing episode 3, which is going to be kind of a part 2 to the first episode that I did.
Yes.
About the Ship of Theseus. Yeah. So a little bit of a warning.
Oh.
This one's like, it's going to get kind of dense.
Oh no. Okay.
We're going to go through
okay.
a few different theories of personal identity. And unfortunately, I was doing my notes last night, of course, and I was almost done writing them, and then I was like, I'll just write a quick little thing about this last part, and then I started like researching that part, and I was like, oh, this is like its own episode also.
Oh no.
But I'm gonna take a break from it. I can't just talk about personal identity for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I need something else.
Let's do something else.
So we'll take a break from personal identity after this episode, and we'll talk about something more fun. I think next one I'm gonna do is more about ethics.
Okay, cool.
So it'll be fun and make you feel bad about yourself.
I already feel bad about myself.
So today we're going to talk specifically about memory theory, which we touched on a little bit in the last one. I talked about John Locke and his ideas of like linking memory to your past self as a sort of like way to verify that you're still that same person, you know? So we're going to go a little bit deeper into that. and relate it to the Ship of Theseus again a little bit. So just a quick recap. If you missed the first one, you should probably go watch it.
That's probably a good idea.
Probably just because it's like the simplest way to start the conversation of personal identity. So I would recommend starting there and then coming back here afterwards, if your brain isn't fried at that point already. So
valid.
So we talked about the Ship of Theseus and basically asking that if we are constantly physically changing like the Ship of Theseus, then who's to say that we remain the same person throughout our lives? That's basically what body theory asks. Is like, well, if our body's changing all the time, we're not the same person anymore. Yeah. But like most people probably don't think that way.
Right.
Because like if you cut off your arm or something, you're still the same yourself. Person. Yeah, just because your body changed. So today I'm going to expand more on some different theories of personal identity and answers to the question as it builds on the story of the Ship of Theseus. So first, just to like warm us up a little bit. Okay, just for funsies, we're going to go through another thought experiment, but much shorter.
Okay, great. Much shorter.
So stick with me here, please. Okay. It's like I promise it's fine.
Like I need to open up my brain.
You're okay. Now. Like eyes wide. Open your ears. Well, the one that works.
Wait, that's my deaf ear. I'm listening.
Maggie's half deaf in one of her ears. So it's a joke.
Oh.
So imagine you and I are kidnapped by like a crazy scientist.
Makes sense, yeah.
Obviously. And he is going to take all of my thoughts and memories and all of like my mind stuff. So he's going to take all of my mind stuff and put it into your body. Ugh. And then he's going to take all of your mind stuff and put it into
the Freaky Friday thing.
My body. Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
But he also says that one of our bodies is going to then be tortured and one of them is going to receive $1 million.
I hope it's me who gets the $1 million.
Right. So if you get to decide which body gets tortured.
Wait.
So which one do you choose?
Obviously, I'm in your body. I'm going to choose my body.
You want your body with my brain stuff to be the one that's getting tortured? Yeah, because
then you'll feel the pain.
Okay.
That's not my problem.
That's great, because this is sort of meant to tell you where you think your identity lies. Oh, as just a quick little test.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing.
Okay.
And this was an experiment from Bernard Williams.
We just really hate each other. Like, you get the pain over me. I mean,
obviously, like, you're not going to choose for yourself to be tortured.
I mean, okay, I feel like some people, they'd be like, I'd die for you, which, like, I would, but not in this situation.
No.
I feel like
I want to be a millionaire.
Like, you know what? I need more money rather than...
So, I'm assuming he, like, tortures you, and then afterwards, you switch back.
Right afterwards?
I'm assuming so.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's like, I'm done. And then...
Yeah, and then off you go.
Yeah, I guess. Off you go. Okay, cool.
Let us know in the comments below what you would do.
Which one would you be?
Which body would you choose to torture?
Oh,
okay, your own body with not your mind, or someone else's body with your mind in it. So, really quick sort of recap rundown of John Locke's memory theory. Okay. So his thoughts of what make you is your memory, right? Your personal identity remains the same over time as long as you have memories of your past. Mm-hmm. So I know I'm the same person as I was yesterday because I can remember yesterday.
Yes.
Oh no, I can't remember 2 days ago. Am I the same person? Well, yes, because I can remember yesterday that I was able to remember 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And you can remember, like, past, like...
I can remember past yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, like, big events that happened.
Totally.
And all of that.
Yeah, so I know I'm connected to the earliest memory I can think of because there's a chain of memories, you know? So I know I'm connected to that same person who was, like, 4 years old you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still that same person.
Mm-hmm.
Each of your memories are like dots that are connected from your earliest memory to right now. This all creates a chain of memory, which John Locke believed acted as an anchor or a way to verify that your identity is still the same from the first point. And it makes sense because, like, all of our embarrassing memories from childhood or like other unpleasant experiences kind of help us to learn how to act.
Yeah.
You know, like, I wouldn't be the same person I am now if I didn't have all the memories that I have.
You're like, ooh, I should never do that again.
Exactly.
Why did I do that?
And that's like part of evolution. Like, you eat something bad.
Yeah.
If you get food poisoning from Taco Bell,
I'm still eating
you're
Taco
never
Bell.
gonna.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. I would say many people. Well, okay. For instance, I still eat Taco Bell, but I've gotten sick once after I ate a Crunchwrap Supreme.
Oh, so you
totally
can't have it
unrelated. I was
anymore.
already sick, but
Okay.
I can't eat a Crunchwrap anymore.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes. Okay, that's where you were going with that. I was gonna
Yes.
say, like, oh, I'll eat anything else from Taco Bell if, like, I
But
threw
not
up
the
something,
thing
but
that
not
you
that
ate.
one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because it just
Yeah.
makes you feel gross, and like evolutionarily, your mind is like, well, last
poison.
time I ate that, yeah, it must have been poison.
Yeah. Okay.
So your mind doesn't want to eat it anymore. So
Valid.
yeah, our unique memories are how we learn and adapt and become who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that that would be where our identity is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that simple, unfortunately, because nothing in philosophy ever is that simple.
Okay.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some criticisms and counter arguments
For
memory theory.
Okay.
You know, to be fair, John Locke, he came up with this a long time ago. This was, I'm assuming, like 1600s.
Okay. That's
So like we've learned a lot since then.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So the first main thing that I thought of, like, wait, this maybe doesn't actually work, is we can only remember so much of our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can only remember, like I said, my earliest memory is when I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody remembers being born or like toddlerhood or really that far back. So are we not still the same person as the baby that we see in photos because we can't remember it?
I mean, I want to say, yeah, it's still me, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, still called Maggie. Still, but like, if I can't remember it, did it happen? But
you have no way to verify that it happened.
Yes. Unless it's like on camera or something.
Sure.
I feel like that's evidence.
Locke, you know, they didn't have cameras.
True. That's a good point. I forgot we were talking about the 1600s.
Really, yeah, so that wasn't really an option.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm thinking, well, my parents, like, they were there.
They remember.
They know, like, they watched me grow up. They know I'm still the same person.
Yeah.
Like, I've changed, but I'm still the same person, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, but can you rely on another person's account of your personal experiences? Not always.
No. Because they remember it differently.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Like, you can remember your own feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I remember being sick, like staying home and watching Harry Potter at home, you know, that's like a very clear memory that I have. If, like, I remember that day so much differently than Mom remembers that day.
Right. She was worrying about other stuff that day.
So I remember just sitting and staring at the TV all day and eating a bowl of SpaghettiOs.
Oh my god.
And like being miserable.
Not SpaghettiOs.
And I don't know what Mom was doing. So she can't verify that that's what I was doing. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so trippy.
So trippy. If anyone's high right now,
sorry.
You shouldn't be. Wait till Maggie's next episode.
I don't know.
Also, another counter argument is that we can't hold on to memories forever.
Okay, yeah. Like, we're not able to?
We're not able to because we can only remember so much
in our
at
mind.
once.
Okay,
yeah. We can only house so many memories. So we forget things that aren't as important to make room for new memories.
Why do I have memories of me, like, falling on my ass over, like, something so...
It was a core memory.
Why was it a core memory, though?
I don't know. But also, like, the main theories... the main theories that... Wait, exactly. Because the main memories that I have from my childhood, I think about pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like reinforcing those memories by thinking about them, because they come up when I'm sick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, oh yeah, I used to watch Harry Potter when I was
like
sick.
topical.
So it keeps being brought up because I'm still learning from those memories.
Oh my god.
They're still influencing the way that I act. Isn't that wild?
That's so crazy. What about like when I just remember something out of nowhere and I was like, I forgot that happened, and it just comes all the way back to my memory.
Yeah,
and
I
then
don't know.
yeah,
That's
because you know how you're like, oh, I remember that person, but I forgot they existed.
Yeah.
Like with people.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. I don't know. Does that have anything to do with that? Like
I
memory?
think so. I don't think it has
Okay.
much to do with your identity.
Oh,
In that
true. It
case,
would just be like identifying.
it would probably
others.
not be like if you were able to just forget it and not really think about it very often. I would assume that it's not a very important memory for how you operate. So your brain doesn't need to be thinking about it very much because it doesn't add much to your life.
You know what that makes me think about is Inside Out 2. I think it's the second one where they're like, here's an embarrassing memory. I just want to like put this in there really fast, and she's like, oh god.
Like,
and I think about that almost daily.
And
like,
that's like, there's something to be learned from those memories then. Like they're popping up for a reason. At least that's how I think about it.
Interesting.
I'm curious to know the actual like scientific reasons for that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not so sure. I'm more focused on the philosophy side.
Right. Okay.
Than the psychology. Because I'm not super great at
sciencey
understanding psychology.
Yeah. Maybe that's something that we just don't worry about.
We don't worry about.
Like,
but it is cool to, like, the brain is so weird.
It is
insane. Cool to think about. We'll talk more about the brain in a sec.
Okay.
It gets cool.
Okay, brain.
Okay, brain.
Slay.
No, yeah, every time I think of memories, like, I am picturing Inside Out.
Yeah. Always Inside Out.
That's why I'm like, yeah, one of my core memories is watching Harry Potter when I'm sick. Another one is when I was 4 and wearing my favorite dress, and I, like, mom took me out of school for some reason. And it was
when you're like, oh my gosh, I have my beautiful dress on.
Yeah.
I'm out of school.
Like, I think about that day all the time. I don't remember what I did, but like that's a core memory.
My dress.
Yeah, that's my earliest memory.
Oh my gosh, I have so many of those.
We forget things. So does that mean that someone with Alzheimer's or amnesia is a different person than they were before their memory loss took place?
Especially amnesia, because it's so like sudden.
Very sudden.
That's a really good question.
That's one of the main, like, this memory theory is bullshit, because if I have like a family member that has amnesia or something, I know that person. I know their I know their likes, I know their dislikes, I know all this stuff about them. They might not know it. I know their memories, you know, I like have all this, I have a perception of their identity.
Yeah, and they are still who they are.
They are still who they are, but they just don't know it.
Yeah.
They don't remember who they are.
Would that be...
But there is a question of, like, have they changed as a person enough to make it so that they are basically a new person?
Oh my god.
You know, if it's irreversible.
I think of the movie 50 First Dates. Have you seen that?
No.
With Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. They're amazing. She basically like gets in a car crash and she can only remember this one day over and over and over.
Oh god.
And she meets Adam Sandler's character and they fall in love, but then the next day he's like, wait, you don't know who I am? We just like fell in love. And so by the end of the movie, spoiler alert, it's been out since 2000s. He like made a video for her to wake up to every morning to be like, this is proof that we got married. These are our children, stuff like that. And she's like, this is insane. Yeah, I think they had children or something, or like something like that.
Dude, that's terrifying.
That's just what I think of, because she's learning every day about herself.
Yeah.
Every single day when she wakes up.
Oh my god.
And she's thinking she's somewhere else, where like at the end of the movie she's on a boat, because they live on a boat. But
That's
then
gonna be
she's like,
good
wait, I
for
thought I was
orientation.
in a house with my parents or whatever. So
I feel
it's
like
really crazy.
living on a boat probably wasn't the best move.
Probably
For
not.
her to be able to like orient herself every morning.
Probably not.
I feel like being on a boat would probably make it
Like,
a
where
lot.
I think I'm kidnapped. What's happening?
Oh my god.
No, I know it.
That's
But it's a good
crazy.
movie.
That does
I
sound
highly
like
recommend.
that does sound really good. It sounds like
It's-
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Similar.
It's more like, it's a romantic movie, so
But-
it's a like rom-com, but
It's like the opposite of Groundhog's Day, because
Yeah,
in
it would
Groundhog's
be.
Day he remembers that every
of those days, every one
but
of those
nobody around
repeating
him
days.
does.
Yeah, and she just thinks she's
Her
living the
opposite.
same day over and over in the same way.
Oh my
But she doesn't remember what happened.
dude, half the day is wasted on trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
terrifying.
it was crazy.
Anyway, I said it again.
Anyway, count. Let's go.
Oh man. So, people with memory loss,
Mhm.
they are not able to remember parts of their past, but others around them do
Mhm.
and recognize them as the same person.
yeah.
But people who are really close with them might have a sort of like grieving period
Mhm.
because they are realizing that they are not the same person.
Yeah.
They're realizing all of the changes that have happened,
Mhm.
and like we'll see it later, but there's like a brain injury can drastically change
Oh,
someone's personality.
100%. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
mean-
just it's wild.
I mean, with that, he really didn't change, but
No.
once it was pretty crazy, it was still different.
Yeah. But like I read a book called My Stroke of Insight
Mm.
because someone I know had a stroke last year.
Mhm.
And during his recovery, everyone who was around him kind of read this book to just like get
Aw.
like some knowledge about what was going on in his brain, you know,
that's
because
so
it's like
sweet.
I can't imagine
No.
how
It's frustrating.
yes.
So
my God.
frustrating, because oh God, your mind's telling you one thing and you're like,
Yeah.
I can't do it.
But it's apparently very common for stroke survivors
Makes sense. Yeah.
to have a total personality change.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not total personality change, but just like little things, like a little bit more irritable, a little
Mhm.
more like focused on like things that need to be done. Like kind of, yeah, it's just so wild.
Yeah.
So this is just sort of just a way for me to think about how like ridiculous the memory theory really is.
Yeah, I don't know if I fuck with the memory theory,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I was so down for it until I started looking into this. I was like, yeah, no, this is
You definitely debunked it well. Because I don't know if I agree with it now.
there are more.
Okay,
There are a
great.
couple more. Also, false memories. People can
Mhm.
remember things differently. So how
100%.
can we know that the memories attached to our identity are accurate? Especially earlier memories.
Yeah.
We have remembered memories from our childhood so many times. And there's this thing, I probably should have like looked this up to verify before, but I've heard about this thing where the more times you try to remember something, the less accurate it gets.
I think I agree with that. There's so many
Isn't that
things
a thing?
yeah. There are so many things that I try to remember, and then I remember it differently each time.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gets more and more ridiculous. and
Yeah.
like, wait,
I
what
think
actually happened?
I think when I was in psych in high school, we talked about like eyewitness accounts and
Mhm.
how much they can
Mhm.
vary.
What's that bystander effect, where like but that's different. So just never mind. I was thinking do you know what the bystander effect is?
I've heard of it. It's not
It's
gonna
like
be-
if multiple people see something, they're gonna assume somebody else
yes.
is gonna report it.
yeah. So then nobody actually does anything.
Yeah, That's what made me think about it. Okay.
That like pisses me off.
Yeah.
When I think about it, because then
I'd rather have multiple 911 calls called in than like no, but someone just assumes someone's doing something.
And I listen to so much true crime
Mm-hmm.
where like nobody does anything,
Which
where
is
like
insane.
things are happening out in
it.
the middle of like a street with people around and like nobody does anything.
I think people are also kind of afraid to like report something that maybe wasn't a big deal or something, or like maybe they overreacted or something.
Oh my god, I would so rather be like told off by cops for being dramatic than like have the power to save someone's life and not do it.
No, I know. I don't know.
Oh my god.
But a lot of the times when I was actually in like college town, we had like a break-in basically into my husband's at the time his like house that he was sharing with roommates.
With the boys.
And I had to like talk to the police officer and I was like I don't know, it was kind of terrifying. But we kind of remember it differently, which is interesting. Like there are some things that obviously like align, but what was I going with that?
Bystander effect. Reporting to police.
We like
different
he had
witness
more
accounts.
Details and I didn't, and because I was just freaking out the whole time, and I was very quiet. He was like literally like don't speak, and I was like absolutely not. And it was just some random person that wanted to break in, and I think he got arrested that night because it was scary. Anyways, off topic, but we remember it quite differently.
Yeah.
Because we reacted differently with it.
And also, we talked a little bit about this during the Titanic episode, but trauma can cause people to remember things totally differently.
Absolutely.
Or, like, suppress their memories, or
just black them out completely. And
it can really affect your ability to remember something. Like what happened on the Titanic, where everyone that survived had a different account of what the iceberg looked like.
Exactly. Yeah, there were so many different what's it called?
Accounts.
I guess accounts, but like opinions on what it looked like and what it was and all of that.
Nobody could agree. And I don't think it's that like they don't know like what they're talking about, because clearly they are very smart people,
100%.
Very qualified, because they like they knew that it would be dangerous waters,
and they're prepped for those.
But they just had that traumatic experience right after seeing the ice, that their memory of what it looked like is just, it's corrupted. Like a
it's
file.
kind of faded now. And they're just like, I think it was this.
So I don't know how much I would trust that book that the captain wrote.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because he wrote a
book about what happened. Like, I don't know. It's memory is so unreliable in situations like that.
That's true. I mean, I guess that would be his opinion on what happened, but then it's like, that's why there are conspiracy theories, because of that memory.
Nobody can really remember it solidly.
Yeah, and there's no evidence really of a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, so false memory is also moral responsibility. This is the last one I have. If you can't remember committing a crime for some reason, like if like for trauma or something, or you were drunk or whatever reason, with memory theory, you would be innocent and not have to face the consequences, because like, oh, I don't remember doing that. I wasn't that person. That wasn't me.
That's crazy.
I blacked out.
Or with like people with multiple personalities and everything, they're like, I don't remember that. I didn't do that. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Because sometimes, I mean, I don't think they remember everything that the other person
did. Don't know if people call it multiple personalities anymore.
Is it something
I think it's dissociative identity.
Oh, okay.
Disorder. So
Thank you for correcting me.
I think they like go in and out of different personalities, basically. I wonder how, I would love to look into how like their consciousness,
how they're different.
like how that feels.
Yeah, because it's the same
internally.
body, different
Mhm.
personalities, maybe different
Very
consciousness.
interested to know if
Conscious
they
body.
remember the things that are happening, or
Yeah.
if it feels more like a dream or what.
It
Because
could.
I used to dissociate a lot, and
Mhm.
it does feel kind of dreamlike. So I'm wondering if
Mhm.
that's what it is. I'm not sure, but very
Maybe that's
interesting to
something we
think
could
about.
look into
I could
later,
totally look
another
into that.
time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Thomas Reed, philosopher.
Mhm.
Ugh, these names.
They're all
Boring.
pretty white names.
Yeah. He critiqued Locke's theory, and he argued that memory is not the basis of personal identity, but
Okay.
rather it provides evidence of personal identity. So,
Okay.
like, just because I remember something from my childhood doesn't mean that I'm that same person. Or it's not like that is what's making me the same person.
Yeah.
But it's a way to verify, like, oh, I remember that, so I guess, yeah, I'm probably that same person because I can remember it.
Mhm.
So it's not really that memory is what holds our identity or really makes our identity, but it's just a way to, like, check.
Yeah. Okay. It's just one of the ways.
Yeah.
Got it.
He also believed that personal identity is, like, a very simple concept, but it's, like, not, we can't analyze it. It's so simple, but it's not really attainable to define.
Okay.
Because it's so, I don't know why he calls it simple.
It's pretty
I would
complex.
say it's pretty complex.
He's like,
it's just so simple. You guys just don't get it.
You guys just don't get it.
Just can't put it into words. If you know, you know.
Oh my god. Who do you
Anyway,
know here?
Memory theory to me seems like a better alternative to body theory. Because it is more rooted in, like, your mind and what's going on in there. Not just like, well, if your body changes, you're a different person.
Right.
But it, like, comes apart so easily, so it's kind of hard to stick with. So here's some other theories.
Oh, okay.
Yippee!
Yay!
I said yay, and then 4 exclamation marks on my notes. Yay, other theories. So David Hume, big bummer of a guy.
Oh, bummer.
Just like,
why?
just such, like, a contrarian. Just like, actually everything that you believe, wrong.
Fucking sucks, man.
Yeah, so he came up with bundle theory.
Okay.
Which, like, you might have heard of, maybe not.
Go.
Maybe the people have heard of it, maybe
first,
not.
And then I'll figure it out.
Kind of explain it. Because I had heard bundle theory before, but I hadn't really heard of the, like, definition of it.
I'm gonna be
I'd
honest.
heard the name,
only
but that's
bundle I've ever heard of is like car insurance.
Oh my god!
I'm not gonna lie.
Home and
like
auto
progressive.
theory. Yeah, this is
not sponsored.
This is the progressive theory.
Okay.
Basically, he says there is no you that is the same person from birth to death, and the concept of the self is an illusion that we've created.
Oh my god. So it doesn't exist?
Yeah, he was like, there's no definition of the self. Like, you guys are stupid.
Oh my god. I don't like that.
So he said, if maintaining your
Mean.
identity, yeah, he's just kind of a dick. If maintaining your identity means having the same properties, then no one can have the same identity from one moment to the next because we're constantly changing. So what we might call the self, or like the location of your personality, basically, is actually just a bundle of a ton of things that add up to make you who you are.
Okay.
So your mind, your body, your emotions, your preferences, your memories, and other people's perception of you. Or like items. Like, if I'm really into, like, certain colors, if I'm really into certain foods, like my preferences, right? So these things change. My favorite color throughout my childhood, like, changed a million times. Those add up with other things to make me who I am.
Yep. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's basically, the way that I picture it is like a Pinterest board of, like, everything that makes me who I am.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. Or like a mood board.
Yeah, it's a mood board. But he calls it a bundle. They didn't have mood boards back then.
God, at least we do now, though.
Also, I have to say, David Hume looks like, it's fine because he's long dead, so I can make fun of him, but he looks like that guy from Lazy Town, that puppet. guy, the mayor, I think
The mayor. Not the mayor. No, I know who you're talking about.
Because it's so
Wait, show me a picture of him though, because I know what the mayor looks like.
David Hume.
Not the mayor. He totally does. You have to show a photo of this.
I'll put a picture on the screen.
That's so
If
funny.
you're listening, just look up David Hume.
And then look up the Lazy Town Mayor. Wait, can you look at the Lazy Town Mayor really fast? I want to compare.
I think it's, let's make sure it's the mayor.
I think so too. Okay. Yeah. Because when you said Lazy Town, it was like the blue guy? I don't know.
No, not the hot blue guy.
Not the hot blue guy. Oh my god, it's like...
It's a spitting
white,
image.
Literally.
You think they designed him off David Hume?
Maybe.
Why does he look like that? Ew, he's so scary. I hate puppets.
Oh god, so scary.
Ugh.
I didn't know he looked that scary.
Isn't
He
that
looked a little normal.
so funny?
Oh my god, that was perfect. Perfect comparison.
Thank you.
Oh my god, good job.
Thank you. I'm putting that in my bundle.
For inspiration.
For inspiration, that's going on my mood board. But part of the bundle theory is that there's no like thing that houses all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like all the items in a pile.
Wouldn't it be like...
Because there's no self. You know, there's no like soul. There's no thing that
like...
holds all of those things together.
Okay.
They are in constant movement.
Okay.
Constantly changing. It's just a bunch of things floating around.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know why I thought it was like, oh, that's your personality. Because like everything...
They all influence your personality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not made up of your personality. No. Okay.
So the things in our bundle are constantly changing, meaning that our identities are constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
But we have just been fooling ourselves into thinking of our identity as constant because our bodies look the same throughout our lives, or like relatively the same. So he believes that like body theory fucked with us.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, actually, we don't have a solid identity from day to day. It changes.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, kind of makes sense.
It does make sense to me because I feel like I haven't had the same personality all my life.
No.
At all.
No.
I've gotten much more matured.
Yeah.
And I've gone through some things that made me that way.
Totally.
So, yeah, I kind of agree.
Right? Like, it's kind of a bummer.
He's such a bummer.
Because then it also, like, that's just, like, I can see how personality changes, but identity kind of feels more like it should be pretty solid.
Yeah, it should be.
To me. Like,
but I mean, a lot of people just don't know their identity a lot of the time, though.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to figure it out.
You remember in high school, you were like, I have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'll join these clubs. Like, I'll try to find what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And so
when you graduate, you're doing the same thing of like, okay, I don't see these people anymore every single day, so I need to make some friends. How do I do that? I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this.
It's a constant thing. It's not just when you're growing up, but like when you're younger, it really feels like, okay, this is the time where I decide who I am.
Yeah.
But
it's really not.
It's so funny, like watching like high school like dramas or something, and everyone's like, we're graduating, this is it, guys, this is the start of our lives, there's no going back now.
You can go back
if I stayed the person I was 5 years ago, fuck that.
Oh my god, I would be a terrible person. I was like kind of mean.
You were mean. Growth and change are good. And David Hume says there's no way getting around it. You know?
No getting around growth and change?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are constantly growing. You're constantly changing. If you think back to like when you were a baby, you didn't have any of the same preferences that you do now.
No.
You wanted milk.
Right.
You wanted toys. You pooped in your pants. Like,
sometimes people do poop in their pants.
Sometimes.
I'm not gonna lie.
But like there's other things that have changed, hopefully.
Not just that.
Hopefully you've grown in some ways. But like, yeah, maybe I had a certain color that I liked, or like a certain song, or like I really liked Dora, you know? I don't have those preferences anymore. I'm not at all the same person I was when I was a baby.
Yeah.
I have the same name, and like physically I'm in the same vessel that has just changed over time. But those are the only things that have remained constant.
Yeah.
Is my name and my vessel.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that name, vessel.
Well, because I can't just say body because my body's changed.
Yeah.
So it's the same house for all my stuff.
No, and that makes sense. I just don't like the word.
I know. Okay, what other word can I use instead of vessel?
I don't know. I just think of the movie. I'm thinking a lot of movies and shows from all of this. The movie The Host. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh my god.
Is it a horror movie?
It's like a sci-fi. It was from a book.
Sci-fi.
And it's really good. You should
Okay,
read
don't
the book,
spoil it. I'll watch it.
I won't. It's really good.
Anyway.
A lot of people hated the movie, but I kind of liked it.
Okay. I kind of love like a bad movie.
It's like
I love a 3-star movie.
First, everyone was like, "Oh, this sucks."
Oh, totally.
But I really liked it.
That's okay. Okay. So, yeah, that's David Hume. I kind of get him.
I kind of get him. Yeah.
But I also kind of hate him.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Like, it makes sense. Okay. And then there's a similar sort of idea. This is, like, bundle theory is kind of what more people have developed newer theories from.
Okay.
So it was more like, it was pretty widely accepted. And then some more recent philosophers, like some of them are still alive, have taken that and turned it into different theories. Which we won't, like everyone has their own theory about
for sure.
what it is. Like, everyone has their own perspective. So I'm going to talk about Derek Parfit. He is a pretty recent philosopher, like just died like 10 years ago. And he came up with this thought experiment. So another imagining moment. Okay, close your eyes. Okay. Imagine you step into a machine that breaks apart all of your atoms.
Oh. Lovely.
And copies all of the information and then sends it to a similar machine that's on Mars. Right? And that assembles a body out of all that information. Kind of.
Okay.
And you appear on Mars. And that person has all the same memories. Like, all the same everything as you. And your body has been disintegrated. So did you space travel? Or is that person you?
Oh, no.
Or is it a new being that happens to be identical to you?
I hate to quote another movie.
Do it.
It reminds me of Mickey 17. It's a newer one. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen it.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but it's basically just him cloning himself over and over. Well, they clone him. He has
17 times?
Around 17 times. Yeah.
Okay.
And then shit goes wrong.
Of course.
But that's so crazy.
I know. So what's the answer? Did you clone yourself or did you transport?
Because my old one is gone.
Yeah.
I think it's a clone.
Really?
It is a clone.
You think you died and there just happens to be another clone taking your place?
Does it act the same?
Everything's the same, yeah.
Everything's the same. Ooh, that's exactly like that movie. Fuck.
Let us know in the comments below what you think.
Yeah. I don't want to answer that question.
There's a second question.
Okay.
So if the machine left your atoms in place, so you didn't disintegrate, but you were still able to copy all of your data and make a you on Mars, did you travel or did you just clone yourself that time?
That is a clone. So the other
definitely a clone.
The other one, I think you could easily just replace yourself. It's also in Rick and Morty. They do that as well.
Of course they do.
In like season 1, they take their place in another universe.
But like, if we had to think logically, like, is that the only way that we'd be able to do like teleportation? You know?
Oh, that would suck.
That would suck. But also,
technically a new.
You wouldn't really know the difference.
No, because you're just moving from one to the other.
You wouldn't know the difference between that and
oh my gosh,
you actually just traveling, like teleporting there.
Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that's what teleportation
oh
will be.
God.
So, here's the answer.
Oh.
Parfit believes that you did not travel. You just created a new you on Mars.
I
for
think so
both of the
too.
situations.
I didn't want to say that for the same thing every time, but I think so.
I mean, you can.
I think they're both clones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether the Earth version of you was destroyed or still exists, they're both you, just in different places. And then here's the part that made me mad.
Oh no.
Even if you were to get on a spaceship and fly to Mars the normal way, it would still be a new you walking on Mars because you experienced some amount of change during the trip to get there.
What do you mean change to get there?
Your experience in the ship, like getting on the ship, your memories to get there, you have probably changed physically at least a little bit. Like your cells are turning over and all that. You might have discovered from being in space, you might have discovered certain preferences about yourself. Things, no matter how small they are, things will have changed and made you a new person by the time you get to Mars and step foot on Mars.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's really confusing.
Yeah.
Wait, what? But it's just you transporting to another place.
Yeah, but the
physically.
experience of
Like
travel is
anything.
morphing your perception of life.
Like astronauts probably just...
Even if you were to get on a train and travel somewhere on Earth, you are a different person than who boarded the train because of the experience of the trip.
That's
changing
crazy.
You. Everything that happens to us changes us a little bit. Is his...
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate that. But okay, I'll accept it.
So, he believed that every experience changes you at least a little. So your identity right now is unique to the current moment version of you.
So there's a new
right
version every single millisecond.
I mean, every time anything happens. If you were just like sitting in a room of like, or like one of those sensory deprivation tanks,
yeah,
maybe the change would happen slower. It would still happen though.
Yeah, because you hadn't before you went into that tank versus after you got out of the tank.
You're a different person.
Something.
Yeah. The experience of honestly, that might change you a lot because I've heard people say like the meditation of those like
it's intense.
tanks. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Even like sleep changes you. You wake up from a dream, you're like, what the fuck was that?
My dreams are crazy, man.
Me too. And then you think like, what the fuck is wrong with my brain?
Like, why would I think about that? Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, how did my mind like conclude that? Because I was doing some kind of like math in my brain or in my dream. Sorry, not in my brain, in my dream once, and I was like, how did I come up with that? Because I wouldn't have done that conscious.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
I don't know if I'm ever doing anything in my dreams where I'm like impressed with myself when I wake up.
I was kind of impressed. I was like, okay, get it.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Interesting.
Yeah, so this also fits in with how we see other people.
Just perception.
So if you haven't seen like an old friend in years, your idea of who they are is based on the last time you saw them.
Yeah.
And what their identity was at that point.
Absolutely.
But when you reconnect with them, you have to put in work to get to know their new life, you know? Like the milestones that you miss, the changes that have been made, everything that feeds into their bundle of identity in the current moment.
Absolutely.
Every time, even if it's not an old friend, even if you wait like a week, they are a different person. There are things that need... So like there was this example of like family members that you only really see on like holidays. If you have an aunt who like you only see on Christmas and she keeps bringing you stuff that like you were into when you were in middle school, like she just hasn't put in the work to get to know your new identity. She knows you based on your bundle of like
from 6th grade.
When you were into like Monster High dolls and
Polly Pocket,
like drawing and stuff. You know those, oh my god, you know those like art kits that every kid got?
You got like almost 1 million
I
of
got
them.
so
Like,
many
you
of
got
those,
so
and
many
they
of
were
those.
always shit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like,
They were always bad quality.
I'm so grateful for the love, but
I'm pretty sure I got you one once, and I was like,
probably.
"This is a terrible gift. What did I do? Oh my gosh!"
But it's okay. Now we're gonna move away from bundle theory.
Finally,
Sorry. Okay.
it was fine. It was just a lot.
Real quick, literally so quick, cloning.
Mm-hmm.
If you cloned yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you and your clone had an identical body and name, but your own unique lifetime worth of memories,
Mm-hmm.
but only one of you gets to live, which one of you deserves to
That's
live?
literally Mickey 17. That's literally the movie.
Sorry. It's also kind of Severance.
Oh, I haven't seen Severance. I don't have Apple TV.
It's kind of Severance.
Okay. Yeah, how would you know that?
How do you
How would know
decide?
which one?
Because you are both, you've lived individual lives.
Is it
Even though this clone has just been born,
right? But
they have
know
the
that.
memories of an entire life.
Yeah.
So there's no way to really justify, like, well, I am, like, they were just born, but they have, like, they don't think that.
Mm-hmm.
They
In their mind,
are
they've been
fully, yeah, they fully believe that they have this link of memory
Mm-hmm.
and their own bundle of identity. You just happen to have an identical body and name.
Oh my god, it hurts my brain.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go into that one anymore.
No. Okay.
Just
perfect.
that little question, just to leave you with
Just a little
that.
tidbit.
Yeah. And then real quick, we're going to talk about brain theory,
Okay.
which this goes more into like scientific ideas to back it up. But it's kind of harder to, it's a newer theory, but it's harder to sort of draw the lines of where, like what parts of the brain are important to stay the same, to maintain identity. Like with body theory, everyone kind of has their own idea of when something becomes a new thing physically, like for the ship. Like some people think like when it's halfway transformed, it's a new thing, whatever. And memory theory draws a very clear line of like, as long as you can remember that time, then you're still the same person. But brain theory, like nobody can decide on the line.
God. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's every scientific thing ever.
It's a lot more like goes into neuroscience and psychology. So there's more like real world examples.
Yeah.
So you studied psychology in high school, right?
Yes, and in college.
Oh, and in college.
Just like a class or two.
Have you heard of Phineas Gage?
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember
No.
his story? Okay.
Wait, yes, I do.
So for the listeners,
Wait, yeah.
Phineas Gage was a railroad worker in 1848 who survived a massive brain injury that damaged his frontal lobe, specifically the prefrontal cortex. I'm not going to go into details about the injury because it makes me want to vomit.
It's so gross. Like, look up a photo.
Don't look up a photo of just his skull.
Of just his skull. Like, it shows, like, where it went in his skull, and it missed, like, a lot of important things.
He lost his eye, and that's pretty much it. And part of his frontal lobe.
It was like a perfect, like, I don't know. Yeah, he was fine.
His personality changed dramatically after his injury, according to the people in his life. He went from being responsible, hardworking, and mild-mannered to rude, impulsive, and unreliable. So like a total 180.
Oh, that's awful.
Totally different person. This suggests that our personality is physically like tied to our brain, and it's stored in there. Like we know that it's stored in the brain, but it's a little iffy. Right. The front lobe specifically is responsible for decision making, emotional regulation, and social behavior, which are all the things that he changed.
Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder if his internal identity changed. Or just the parts that affected other people. Yeah. Because I know, like, you can hear the stories from the people around him. Like, yeah, he was a totally different person. But I'm curious to hear, like, what he felt. Like, if he felt any different.
Yeah,
you know?
if he's like, oh, why am I acting this way?
Yeah.
Or, like, if he's even noticing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it. I didn't really look, but I couldn't find anything.
He's dead now.
He's only long dead, yeah. So there's also the question of whether he was the same person as he was before, right? I think Locke would say that he's not the same person because his psychological everything changed. I don't know about his memories, but I'm assuming he lost some memory from that. I don't know. Body theory would maybe say that he's the same person.
Right.
Because his body's the same.
Yeah.
And then brain theory might say he's the same person biologically, but with a different cognitive identity. It depends on how much of his identity-specific brain functions changed, and people disagree about this. Like, people who subscribe to brain theory have different views about whether he's the same person or not.
Yeah.
So brain theory goes more into neuroscience than I'm comfortable speaking on.
Valid.
Because I don't know shit about that.
We don't know about shit.
Huh?
We don't know shit about dick.
We don't. Well, so I won't go much deeper. But feel free to go down some rabbit holes if you're interested. There are some other cases of brain injuries possibly influencing people's morals and overall personality and decision making. And it's really interesting. I saw a whole list of them. And there's one that's like connected to a true crime case that I'm like really interested in actually covering at some point.
Okay.
So
cool.
I'll go through that. And that is the other
Oh my god. That was a lot.
theories of identity.
That was really cool though. Like, it made me really think about things.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I could follow.
Did you follow along?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Sometimes I was like,
a little bit glazy, but
then I was like, snap out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. I'm so glad. I hope everyone listening had a great time and learned some things. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you next time.
We will see you next Wednesday for Maggie's episode on something else.
The JFK assassination.
The JFK assassination, baby. Okay.
Doesn't have to do with what we just did, but that's okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.